Welcome back to the Fit 40 podcast, where we simplify exercise and nutrition for busy parents 40 plus so they can improve their health and feel amazing. I'm your host, Brian Fitzsimmons, certified personal trainer and nutrition coach for people over 40 since 2015. And today we have an awesome topic on deck. We're going to be answering the question, should you be dieting? Maybe people listening right now, maybe that's you, where you're like still trying to diet throughout the rest of 2025, going into 2026 with a little bit of momentum. Others, maybe you got different goals, but maybe you're thinking, should I try for this last quarter of the year, last like little bit? Don't worry, we're going to answer that for you so you have all the information you need to make the right choice for you. But before we dive in, as always, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that follow or subscribe button wherever you're watching or listening so that way you don't miss another episode. There are 2 episodes every single week with awesome information-packed episodes, okay? And you're going to get a lot of really, really good stuff that's going to help you along your journey. So let's get into it. Enough of that. Should you be dieting? Well, it's that time of the year right now where we really have to take certain things into account. Like number one, there are holidays coming up and holidays are meant to be enjoyed. So are you able to, with the diet that you're on, enjoy these special foods? And if not, are you going to miss out on that? And is that going to make you feel guilty at all? Like for me, grandma's meatballs, if I wasn't able to have those, I would kind of feel a little annoyed and a little pissed off almost at myself for not allowing it, but then being in conflict with diet rules and things like that. And what happens when you have these special foods staring you in the face and you're like, I want this, I just can't, is food fixation. We are constantly thinking about that food in front of us. Like, I want it, I can't have it. I want it, I can't have it. And while we're having this inner monologue, we're missing out on time with our friends and family. We're missing out on having these conversations and being fully present because we're so damn fixated on this diet and these rules. And will this work in my plan? Will I be able to get these results? Where it's like, that's just not the time for it. Okay. Right now, this time of the year is usually not the best for dieting for that reason. Different seasons bring different areas of focus, but I won't get ahead of ourselves here. Okay. And also, it helps to understand at this time of the year, being realistic, like what did your past patterns look like? What do you tend to do? Do you like to indulge a little bit around this time of year? Because I know a lot of people do, and that doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. I'm actively doing that right now, but the only difference is I'm doing it in a way that's planned, not, oh, I'm just giving up for the rest of the year and then I'll pick it up come January 1st. It's okay. I'm going to indulge a little bit on specific days, on specific parts of the year that are left, and then I'm going to keep doing the other stuff like exercising, like eating well around those days and things like that. So are we going to go into this pattern like that you've done previously and say, okay, I'm going to eat a little bit extra, but I'm going to keep all the things that I am doing other than dieting, okay? Still staying active in those things. But we also want to understand that if you do choose to diet during this time of year and bring those calories down, that's an added stressor, not just mentally, but physically as well. Okay. Because I know a lot of people when they diet and when they're those forever dieters, the ones that are constantly on a diet that aren't really making any headway, it's usually because of this. It's just one more stressor to their plate on top of a bunch of other stressors. So it's putting you in a position where your body and your life just are not working for you. So first off, like if you have any sort of pain, any sort of nagging injuries or stiffness or achiness, guess what? Being in a calorie deficit doesn't do that any favors. Like when it comes to pain management, one of the things you want to fix first is underfueling yourself. Because if it is something that is related to the foods that you're eating or not eating, then you want to check that box and make sure that's not what's getting in the way. There's a million other causes of pain that we want to rule out, but nutrition shouldn't be one of them. Give your body what it needs. Food is fuel. Food is nourishment. It's not just a way to lose weight. Sickness. Are you constantly sick this time of the year? It could potentially be from your calories being too low, because what people don't realize is when you bring your calories really low and do it for a long time, like a lot of these fad diets have people doing, it messes up your sleep. And when you can't sleep as well, and let me backtrack for a sec. It messes up your sleep. And then let's take into account that maybe you're in a stage of life. Maybe you're in perimenopause where you're having all these symptoms that are really wrecking your sleep. And now you're dieting on top of that. And then you've also got a pet that wakes you up. And then you've also got kids that might wake you up and things like that. Our sleep is completely trashed. And that's going to add on more stress, which is going to lead to a lack of results. Like not moving as much throughout the day. So our non-exercise activity is going to start to go down, which is going to make our dieting efforts even harder. You're going to feel lousy because when you sleep poorly, your whole body is tired, and on top of that, it messes with your hormones. Almost dropped an F-bomb there, I'm not going to lie. So when it comes to hormones, like we've talked about in the past, certain hormones like leptin, that one that's responsible for you feeling full, that's going to go down. The amount of it in your body is going to go down. Ghrelin, that hormone that tells your body, hey, I'm hungry, that one is going to go up. And then cortisol throughout the day is going to be more elevated than it otherwise would be, which is going to stress you out even more. So it's going to be this constant shitstorm that is not going to be benefiting you in any way, shape, or form. And we also want to talk about long-term goals too. So like, let's zoom out a little bit. What is the long-term goal? Is it to lose weight and keep it off for good? Great. If that's the case, just know one of the best things to help with keeping the weight off long term is to have muscle. So if you're dieting for such a long period of time that you're losing muscle, you're hurting your overall goal. The goal should be to burn body fat and lose as much as you can without sacrificing muscle. And then once you start seeing muscle loss or your strength starts dropping down or you start plateauing, that's when it's a good time to go back and raise your calories up a little bit, because you never, ever, ever want to sacrifice muscle because it's got so many health benefits and it's going to help you keep your results long term. And along with the muscle, you also want to be conscious of your bones too. Like, are we doing this? Are we trying to get healthier and improve our body composition, build that muscle, burn that body fat with the goal of being stronger, of being more physically resilient? Like, maybe we're fighting things like osteoporosis or sarcopenia or anything like that. And if that's the case, dieting is one of the worst things you could do for bone and for muscle, because when you're wasting away like that, you are pulling from lean body mass, which is made up of muscle, bone, and other things. And also, do you want to live independently? Like, how long do you want to wait to feel good? How long are you willing to keep quote unquote dieting, where we're in this diet phase? Maybe we're not even seeing any results, but we're depriving ourselves. We're feeling lousy. We're feeling low energy. And you're just putting off your life because you're so tired all the time, or you're always in pain, or you're not able to participate in things because you get winded so fast because you don't have the fuel to actually do it. Okay. That's another question that you want to ask yourself. Now, I'm saying all these things and I'm making a really strong case for not dieting right about now. But just know that if you're not dealing with all this stuff, maybe you came off of a really good reverse diet right about now and you're ready to hit it hard. Awesome. If you're not dealing with all this stuff and you feel really good going into your diet, disregard what I said. You're probably good to go. But that brings up the concept of, are you periodizing your weight loss, your fat loss, your whole journey? Are you doing this in a structured way, or are we just saying, I'm on or off my diet? Because that shit doesn't work. Okay. It just doesn't long term, because if you're on or off, like, you have these foods that you eat when you're on the program, when you're on your diet. And then all of a sudden, when you're off your diet, you go back to quote unquote normal eating. And then you go back into eating all the same things you used to at the same quantities. And then you end up right back where you were because you never really changed anything. Okay. What needs to happen if you are taking control of your nutrition is you eat the exact same types of foods, mostly whole or minimally processed. And then you have a little bit of room for treats and things like that, because there are no bad foods and everything can work if it's all balanced out and you know how to work it and you know how to get away with eating certain things and still getting the results that you want. It's possible. You just got to learn how and get away from these crap fad diet programs. But before I go off on a tangent, okay, just know that you don't have to eat certain foods all the time and fall into that diet culture BS. Also, when I say periodize, when I say program properly, like, there should be periods where you go into maintenance, where you focus on keeping your weight the same or maybe even gaining a little bit, and making sure that that weight that's gained is muscle. Because if you can hit that point, you are in rare air there. Rare air there. Wow, I didn't plan on that rhyming, but here we are. You are going to be one of the very, very few people that understand how to maintain their weight and how to build muscle without gaining unwanted body fat. So if you can get to that point where you slowly raise your calories, or you slowly incorporate foods that are a little bit higher, or the same foods, but the higher amounts of those foods in a way that you know your body's responding the way you want it to, you will be in that sweet spot of, wow, you're in control now. Because once you get to that place where you're able to do that for a few months, your hormones regulate. Those things I just talked about, like your leptin, instead of being really low and you feel like you're hungry all the time, it's going to go up. Your ghrelin, instead of you constantly feeling hungry because the ghrelin is sky high, it's going to drop down. You're probably going to sleep better. You're probably going to be able to regulate your mood better. All these awesome things that are going to make you feel like $1,000,000. And when you do that, it actually ends up burning more calories anyway. So now you can eat even more food and maintain your results if you do this the right way. So that all being said, there should be different seasons that you're in. And let's say you're coming off of, like, you're dieting right now and you're just not seeing any results whatsoever, even though you're doing all the things. It could be that you just are in a place right now where all those things I talked about are working against you, and you need a season of not dieting and just focusing on the big stuff that are healthy behaviors that make you feel good. And then you could go back into the dieting phase when you're firing on all cylinders. This is kind of that restore phase. If you caught me talking about the Fit 40 program, like the updated version, this is the restore phase where it's like, let's do these basic things like getting enough steps, 5 to 10K, making sure that you get protein, fiber, and color at every single meal, making sure that we're working out 2 to 4 times a week. Your sleep quality is like a 3 out of 5 or better, or 6 out of 10 if you want to do that scale. Making sure that you have some way to manage stress that does not involve food or exercise. And when you're able to do all these things, then everything becomes easier. And if you're not quite there yet, then I would say you should not be dieting right now. If you're not checking off all those boxes that I have in that restore phase that I just mentioned, I would not. But if you are in that place where you are doing all those things and you haven't dieted for a while and you're like, maybe I'll lose a few just going into this last month-ish, month and a half, then by all means, go right ahead. But if you haven't already periodized this stuff, do it by the season or even do it month by month, because I know that's what I do with the Fit 40 clients. Like every month we hop on a call, a Zoom call, one-to-one, and say, okay, what's the strategy for this month in between the weekly check-ins? Like, for this month, what is the goal? What are we focusing on? What is the thing that we're going to do? Whether that is building muscle, burning body fat, maybe something else that's performance-based. And that way you understand, hey, this is the focus. It's not, I'm on this never-ending diet that I just, when I hit that number, that magic number, it's going to happen. Here we are years later and we haven't hit it yet. We don't play that game. We don't do that bullshit. We say, okay, what's the plan? Let's execute. And then a month from now, let's see what went right, what went wrong, and make the plan even better as we keep going. So that's how I do it. That's how I recommend everybody else does it, because I've seen insane results throughout the years. So if you want to see what that's like and you're like, I don't even know where to begin, that's what coaching's for. So if you want, go ahead and click the link down below, see more about it, and set up a quick call with me. It doesn't cost any money. It's 15 to 30 minutes. You and me just talk and see if coaching's right for you. And if it's not, no worries. I'll do my best to help you however I can and refer you to some place that might be better. But if it is right for you and you want to get the best possible start on 2026 by finishing the rest of 2025 in the right way, and do that restore phase now when you're able to through the holidays and stuff, and you just got to think, what makes me feel good? Not, oh, how many calories are in this? Or, oh, I can't do this because it's not on my diet plan. If you want to do all the stuff that will make it easier come January 1st, now is the time. All right. And if you're not quite there and you're here for the first time and you're like, dude, I don't want your stuff. Yikes. Okay. No worries. I got free stuff too. So there's the Core 4 bundle, the Core 4 metabolism and mobility reset. You go down, click that link. You get the Core 4 trainings, the mobility follow along routines, the 15 follow along strength workouts, and the PFC cheat sheet. So you got that at your disposal too. So get that if you haven't already. And if you're interested in coaching, go ahead and set that time. But otherwise, that's it for today. Hope that you learned a thing or two, and I hope it helped you make the right decision as far as where to go going forward. But I'll see you next time. Until then, go kick some ass. Bye-bye.